Okay, Halo Wars fucking 2. Let's just crack on with it. So, thoughts, impressions, review, whatever. Now, if I was going to give this game a score out of 10, 6 or 7 would be something reasonable. I'm going to go with a 6 based on the fact that there's so many glitches in the game that kind of bring it down. It could have been a 7 or an 8, but they just couldn't fucking reach them heights because of the glitchy nature of the fucking game. Okay, so I'll be trying to do another video about the glitches separately. So I'm just going to get just a quick few of them. Blitz mode, blue team spawns facing the wrong way. Units being frozen in time and unable to move. Sound being retarded in the cutscenes, so it's like way too low or non-existent at times. Freezing, game crashing, numerous fucking bugs. I'm not going to go into any more detail there. You get the idea. Game reminds me of the MCC. That's all I'm going to say about that. Everybody's going to fucking bash me and say it's not like the MCC, but it's got cutscenes from Blur Studios, and the music's glitchy in them, but they had no problems with the Blur Studios cutscenes in fucking Call of Duty recently. So clearly it's just a problem with fucking 343 and whoever the fuck's working for them in regard to volume in cutscenes when they use Blur Studios. So, what did I think about the game other than the fact that it's a glitchy mess? Okay, first of all, it's supposed to be an RTS. When you play the fucking campaign, which we're now going to discuss, a lot of the levels don't feel like RTS levels. Now, there's an element to that. For instance, if you play the first game, there's some levels where you don't start with a base, but in general, you will get a base. Whereas in this game, you get these kind of like mini bases, which just aren't as fucking good. And on most of the levels, you're limited to what units you can spawn. Whereas in the second half of Halo Wars 1, you're pretty much unlimited. You can just spawn vultures or whatever you want. But until like maybe the last couple of levels, you can't do that in Halo Wars 2. You're limited all the way through the game to what units you can actually use. And generally, you don't start with a fucking base. And on the levels where you do start with a base, you've just got like a horde mode, firefight mode segment where you're sat there and you have to fight waves and waves and waves of enemies. You don't actually go anywhere, do anything. You've got no fucking objective. Now, let's quickly talk collectibles wise. You've got these like little orbs where you collect, but there's no skulls to collect, no black boxes, not shit like that. And to get the skulls, you just complete side objectives, which feels tacked on because why is there no skull to actually collect on the map? Don't understand it. Poor design choice in my opinion. Now, back to what I'm saying about it not being an RTS. A lot of the levels feel like they belong in Spartan Assault rather than a Halo Wars game. And if you ever played Spartan Assault, you'll know what I'm talking about. And you've got these like objectives which also feel very Spartan Assault-esque, like kill so many enemies, blah 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 blah. Similar sort of thing you had in a Spartan Assault. So, in that regard, they seem to be taking a lot of cues from a Spartan Assault game rather than an RTS, where you have to build your units. See, because the game kind of forces you to do what it wants you to do rather than giving you options to say, hey, here's the fucking shit, work out what you're going to do with that shit. The game forces you to have certain units on certain levels and forces you to use those units. You know, for instance, there's a sniper level where you have to use the snipers for like half the level before you even get a choice on to not use them. Wouldn't it be better to start that map with the choice of snipers and the choice of not snipers? Yeah, there's mines everywhere that need to be cleared away using snipers. Well, that doesn't mean you necessarily want to use snipers. You know, the player should have the choice of what fucking units they should be able to fucking spawn. The achievements for the game are pretty reasonable, other than the two that are glitched right now, and I mean glitched where you've got to get so many challenges within a week and so many challenges within a fucking month. Those two achievements are glitched. Other than that, I have every single achievement in the game. Completed the game on Legendary Co-op. Got all the gold medals, everything, which was enjoyable. Now, I did not purchase this game. I got it on GameShare because my mate Deadly Jam, or Jam 2D as he's now called, bought the fucking deluxe edition with the fucking Halo Wars 1. So we already completed Halo Wars 1 again, did all the achievements in that, and then we've now done Halo Wars 2 and done all the achievements in that. Okay, so I would say Halo Wars 1 is the superior game when it comes to the campaign. This campaign wasn't bad, but it's just not as good. There's more variation, more stuff going on in the first game, and I prefer the older fucking Uber units to the new ones. So that's not to say this game isn't tactical. It's not. There's no tactics involved or whatever. It's just a lot of the levels are more Spartan Assault-y than they are fucking RTS-y or Halo Wars-y, and we're greeted with the same obstacles we had in the previous Halo Wars, but they add obstacles on top. And the balancing doesn't feel right in some of the levels. It's kind of retarded how they sort of balanced it. But I can't really explain that without fucking physically showing you, and I haven't got the fucking patience to edit all this crap, because the game is just not worth my friggin' time, because it's not the fucking best game of the fucking year. It's just another game along the fucking road in a sea of a million. So back to what I was saying before about Halo Wars before it released. None of that shit has changed. You know, you're unable to build bases where you want. You're unable to do this. You're unable to do that. All the kind of stuff that you can do in like Command and Conquer games and stuff. So it's still a poor man's RTS. It's still not as good as a Command and Conquer, a Red Alert, or a fucking Age of Empires. So what's the point? If you're going to make Halo Wars 2, make it better than the original. Crank it up to 11. Make it the best game of all time. No, it's just Halo Wars 1 again, but just new missions. A couple of units have changed. You give us Spartan Assault objectives, and that's about it. That's the campaign mode anyway. Now, with regard to multiplayer, the multiplayer is more or less exactly the same. The original stuff. You got deathmatch and blah blah blah. Some of the game modes have been tweaked and whatever. And some of them are fucking new. But essentially the base building and all that, apart from feeling slower than it was in the fucking original game, if you could believe that, is exactly the same. I'm not a big fan of RTS games, as I've mentioned in the fucking past. So I don't really give a shit about any of that stuff. So I might play it every now and again. Not big on that kind of shit. So I'm not really going to fucking go into much detail on the multiplayer, other than if you liked Halo Wars 1, you will like this, because it is exactly the fucking same. Obviously the leaders have changed, so the leader powers have changed, blah blah blah. And then of course there's the Blitz mode, which I'm getting fucking retarded hate off dumbasses like Weapons Grade over, because he wants to troll me to say I'm opening rep packs or whatever. Okay, I got them packs for free. If I'm going to get every achievement in the game, I have to play Blitz mode. So I'm not going to avoid a game mode in the game to not get the completed achievements on my list. So that makes no sense. So obviously I'm going to play that fucking game mode, whether I like it or not. Now, as it happens, I prefer Blitz mode to the normal multiplayer, because it's over quickly. That's the main thing. You drop a bunch of units, it's sink or swim. There's no skill, no strategy other than like positioning your units in certain areas. Other than that, it's just a fucking load of bollocks. You just drop a bunch of units and see what sticks. And also there's the luck element for what card you get at the time, or what cards you've unlocked compared to other people, whether your units level up faster than other people. Like I've got a level 5 Grizzly, which just beasts everything. But that's just pure luck. There's no skill involved with getting them units. That's just pure fucking luck. So, for what it is right now, it's an okay game mode. But as soon as people just tip the scales and just continually play it and get more cards and whatever, People like me who don't play it that often, or people that are just starting to play it, are going to get mullered because these fucking people with all the fucking shit are just going to fucking hammer these people as soon as they join in. You know, if the game mode was balanced and if it had some more levels, because it has one fucking map, if you could actually believe that, it could have been good. Now, the firefight mode that goes along with it, I thought was a lot of fun for what it is. We've not had anything like that in the Halo Wars before. It could be better, but for what it is, it was fun and it was enjoyable. So I'm not going to complain about that. But again, needs more levels. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to play firefight on any map in the game? You know, you build your base and you hold out, and then they could add the blitz cards into that kind of dynamic. So you've got to hold your base, but at the same time they give you these uber cards what you can use every now and again. So the game's not bad, but I can see ways where they can improve it. So let's just quickly talk about the story. I'm going to post another video where I analyze the fucking cutscenes and whatever, which is taken from my live stream probably. And basically, the fucking story is complete load of bollocks from start to finish. Brian Reed's writing at his fucking finest, LNG style right over here. Brian Reed is back with more fucking twaddle, just like Halo 5. Him and the writing team here have failed once again. The new brute, fucking Atriox, is a pretty cool character. The actual design, his voice, and all that sort of stuff. But the way things happen around him and how he's supposed to have come about is bullshit. Okay, so you're telling me the Covenant were fighting another war besides the war with us at the same time? And we're just hearing about this now? You're just reaching for shit and just throwing it in there. It's complete load of bollocks. You can't change the fucking story from years ago whenever it suits. It's like Dragon Ball Z. You can't just change a character's fucking hair and be done with it. You can't do it. You can't just say, okay, this character's got blue hair now. It doesn't make sense. And that's what they're doing with Halo. They're just plucking shit out of the air and just fucking throwing it at the wall and hoping it sticks. They're not really fucking thinking about how can we make a good story. It's just any old shit. That's the truth of the matter. So the story is nothing impressive, and it's just sequel baiting for Halo 6, which I would like to see Atriox in. But after we saw what they did to fucking Julian Dharma's fucking ass, why would we expect Atriox to be any fucking better? You know, he's going to get fucking owned probably in the first cutscene as well of Halo 6. So who's fucking going to get excited about Atriox in Halo 6? And then, okay, we're given a new shipmaster type character, which is retarded because we know the shipmaster is in the guy from Halo 2, the White Elite. We identify him as the shipmaster, but they're giving us another guy who also identifies as the shipmaster, but he just wears generic ass red armor. 343 is obsessed with generic ass red elites. They have been for some fucking time. I don't know why, they just are. They need to give us different coloured elites once again. Why couldn't he be a black Spec Ops elite? A gold elite? Why couldn't he have his own unique armour set? He's the fucking leader of the fucking pack, isn't he? Why can't he have like gold and green or like some fucking Power Ranger colours or something? He could have anything. You know, a big headdress or some kind of muscly armour that we've not seen before. Something different. It's some generic red elite. Once again, just generic as fuck. They can't do characters like that. Okay, Atriox they did alright on, but his fucking crew, one of them's just a copy of him, and who I like to call Desmond, because he's fucking boring. It's actually called Decimus, if you can believe that. And then you've got fucking the shipmaster, who's just a generic red elite. Wow. Also, the shipmaster sounds like fucking Hulk Hogan. You know, like I say, not a terrible game, not an amazing game, just an average game. But good value for money, I have to say. £62, you get the Season Pass, you get the original Halo Wars 1 and Halo Wars 2. All for 62 quid. That's a bargain, man. You're paying 22 quid for a Season Pass and the remaster of Halo Wars 1. Now, Halo Wars 1 Remastered did have a lot of glitches, but they were glitches where the game would freeze and black screen when it was loading up. So it would just be a case of restarting the game and restarting the mission. Other than that, the game works pretty much as it did before. Apart from some major frame rate issues during level startups and certain sequences in the game, it's pretty much the same game. So I'm not going to fucking bash that too much, because they have obviously ported it from the 360 to the Xbox One. So it's going to have some fucking issues. So as a package, a decent offer. On its own, maybe it's a little bit expensive just on its own if you're just buying Halo Wars 2 by itself. But I think it's pretty good value for the bundle, and I don't think it's ridiculously expensive. But if you're more of a Halo fan for the story, I don't see the point in getting this. You could just watch the cutscenes. There's only 7 cutscenes. You can just watch them on YouTube if it's just for the story you want to get this game. If you want to get this game for the gameplay, it's not bad, it's enjoyable, and I enjoy playing shitty fucking games from time to time just to see how bad they are. So as I was playing it, I was thinking, it's not actually that bad, it's pretty fucking good. I'm not saying it's the best game of all time, but it's pretty good. I would give it a 6 out of 10, even with all the glitches. But I'm not a big RTS fan, so what do I fucking know? You need to be looking at people who are big onto RTSs doing reviews to know if you're that kind of fucking gameplay yourself and you want a decent RTS game. That's something I can't really help you with, because I'm not going to go into depth, play every single multiplayer match and find out all the fucking shit in there. I know that one of my mates managed to fly one of their units outside the map and kill people from outside the map by accident. So maybe the fucking multiplayer is just as glitchy as the campaign, you know. But overall, oh, and I will say this, it has the worst tutorial mode of all fucking time. No word of a lie. Doesn't teach you half the shit in the game you need to know about, but also is slow, boring, and you can't skip anything. Absolutely horrendous tutorial in this game. So, and there's achievements, so you have to complete the tutorials as well. Right, so, it's not a game that really requires much more fucking thought or whatever into it. If you're a Halo fan, maybe it's worth picking up for you if you personally want to have a game you can play with somebody else, campaign, you've got some multiplayer there. You know, it's good for a bash. Not the best game of all time, but playable and maybe worth picking up. Ultimately, the game's nowhere near as bad as Halo 5. It's probably worth picking up if you're a big fan of the Halo series or anything like that. It's not amazing, it's not fucking super amazing. And I'll have some more follow-up videos from this, which will show you some more stuff in the game, hopefully. But Ghost Recon is coming out next week, so I'm trying to get as much done as possible right now. Also, I haven't spoke about the microtransactions yet, but that's simply because I already covered that in another video. So basically, I haven't bought any microtransactions. I don't plan on buying any microtransactions, but the Blitz mode and obviously the Firefight mode are geared around that shit to try and make you spend more money in the game. But being as the Firefight is pretty much fucking irrelevant, you know, you don't have to fight other players, so why do you care if you lose to the AI because you haven't got better fucking shit than them? You know, you're just going to play until you lose and that's it. I mean, I'm not going to fucking spend money in the game to beat anybody, let alone the fucking AI. So it doesn't really hurt that mode because it's not damaging to the mode like the Halo 5 system is. That's just my opinion. You don't have to keep running back for ammo and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. It doesn't have the same impact. And it's not a less of a mode than it was in like ODST, because we're talking about a new game mode that's not been in Halo Wars before. So I can't really knock points off for that. And the difficulty does get harder, but as waves progress. Another thing that Halo 5 Firefight just doesn't do. With regard to the Blitz mode, it's okay, forget your achievements. I'm not going to be playing it much more. I'm just going to jump on it every now and again, get my challenges to try and get them achievements that are glitched, and hopefully they'll fucking fix them at some point and they'll just fucking pop. But I'm not going to get my hopes up because this is 343 and they've done this shit before. So feel free to subscribe, guys. Let me know what you think. Bash me for playing Blitz mode all you fucking want. I don't give a shit. Yes, that's you, Weapons Grade. You're an idiot. I do not care, because I'm done with the game, and next week It's Ghost Recon, baby. Woo!